Now, in our second module, we have to see about several types of serial protocols and parallel protocols. Now, before directly going into these protocols, let us first now have an understanding of what is a port. In port itself, there are two types, that is for serial ports and parallel ports. So in this section, we will be discussing about the several types of serial port and the different types of basic terminologies we have to understand which is occurring in port communication. So first, let us have an understanding of what is a port. By port, we mean that a port it is using either for sending the bytes or for receiving the bytes. So this sending or receiving of the bytes, it is occurring from the external peripheral. The communication is occurring between the port and the external peripheral or the processor or controller. So whatever operation the port is being performing, we have to interconnect it to the system bus, and also there will be address decoding mechanisms. So all these are the important points which helps us in understanding the functioning of the port. And also there should be a mechanism by which the port address mechanism for the port, that is addresses of the port registers for programming the port functions or modes, for reading the status of the port, that is whether the port is currently it is being idle or whether it is being used or whether the port is being tried to access by two devices simultaneously, and several operations is to be performed with the help of these port. So basically understand a port is a device which is used either for sending or receiving the bytes from the external peripheral or processors, etc. So it is used basically for communication to take place. And in the port communication, there can be either half duplex or full duplex communication. So what do you mean by half duplex is that, as you can see in the figure, at one particular time the direction of data flow is going to occur, say from a sending port to a receiver port, and at another time period only the transmission is going to occur, vice versa. So at any point of the communication, it can be only in one way, even on a bidirectional line. But in case of full duplex, the direction of data flow occurs all the time. That is, to and fro the data flow can occur. That is what you mean by the full duplex mode of operation. Now, in the communication, you have to understand that the port communication, there can be serial ports or parallel ports. So the serial ports, it is going to enable for serial communication, and parallel port is going to enable for parallel communication. So in the case of serial communication, you can see that at one particular time only one bit can be transferred on the data bus. So this is going to be cheaper as only one wire will be required and it can be used for long distance. But in case of parallel communication, as you can see, multiple bits can be transferred at one particular time. So this as it requires so many wiring systems, it becomes expensive and it can be only used for short distances. So serial ports enable serial communication and the parallel ports is going to enable parallel communication. Now there are different types of serial ports: synchronous serial input, synchronous serial output, asynchronous serial UART input, asynchronous serial UART output. So the serial ports, as you can see, there are several types. That is, there can be input ports and output ports, that is being demarcated, and the communication can be either synchronous and asynchronous. Now in asynchronous mode, you can find that it is following a UART protocol. So this is our first section, that is we have to see in detail what is this UART, asynchronous UART protocol. And first of all, we need to know what is the synchronous and asynchronous mode. So what do you mean by the synchronous communication? That is basically we are meaning the byte to byte communication. So in one byte we know there is 8 bits. So when we are meaning a collection of bytes, now we call it as a frame. And if all the bytes it is being transmitted at a constant time interval with uniform phase difference, then the communication is called as synchronous communication. So the first characteristics is that the frames, they maintain a constant phase difference. That is, the data bytes, they are in synchronization with the other data bytes. There is no permission for sending the data bytes or frames at random time intervals. thus no handshaking. So when you are looking at the figure, see the figure of this type of synchronous transmission. So there are many data frames. Okay, here 8 bits, that is 1 byte is being classified as the data frame, and you can see the direction of flowing. So there is no requirement of any handshaking between the sender and receiver, no predefined agreements. With the help of a clock pulse, this synchronous transmission, it is going to occur, and you have to see that all the data frames, they are going to be in sync with each other, that is in constant phase difference. So that is the characteristic. So a clock signal has always to be present for this type of transmission for a synchronous communication, but it is not necessary that the transmitter must implicitly send the clock signals to the receiver during the communication. So by means of the synchronous communication, we mean that all the frames, okay, all these bytes, they have to be sent at constant time intervals, and there will be a clock signal which is enabling for this type of transmission to take place. So this is a speciality of synchronous transmission. In asynchronous communication, this is just going to be the reverse. That is, there will be no clock signal. So the first characteristic is that the data bytes of frame, they need not maintain a constant phase difference. So each and every frame, they can be sent in varied time intervals. They need not be in synchronization. Okay, so variable time intervals, these bytes are sent. So for that we need a predefined handshaking between the process. There is some set of agreements must be there between the transmitter and the receiver. So some type of handshaking mechanism is there which is going to enable the communication. There is no clock. Okay, so second characteristic is that the clock must be present at a certain rate, but this clock is always implicit to that of the data receiver. That is, this clock is not going to enable for the sync between the frames. In asynchronous transmission, the transmitter does not require any clock information. So the clock information is not required. Okay, for the transmitter and the receiver, there may be a clock signal, but this is not going to synchronize between the bytes. Okay, so there will be no separate signal and no encoded clock using the modulation. Since the clock information is not transmitted along with the data byte, the receiver clock cannot maintain an identical frequency and constant phase difference with the transmitter clock. So what do you mean by this is that there may be a clock signal, but along with the data, the transmitter is not going to give the clock signal. So by means of this clock signal, the sync is not going to be maintained. So if you are looking at this figure, it will be clear. Here you can see that there is variable gap between the data units. Each and every frame, it is going to be sent at variable time intervals. That is, there is no clock which is going to be syncing the sender and the receiver. Only some predefined agreements. So here a start bit and a stop bit, that is a predefined agreement. That is, once the receiver sees the start bits, that is 0, it knows that a frame is going to come. See, at every frame the start bit is going to be 0 and the stop bit is going to be 1. In between you will be having these 8 bits for data. So this is an agreed pattern between this sender and this receiver. Similarly, for different type of protocol, you can have different type of agreements by which the communication is going to take place. But here observe that the frames, okay, or these data bytes, they are not going to be in sync. It is not at constant phase difference. It is occurring at varied time intervals. So this is the basic difference between the synchronous transmission and asynchronous transmission.